Hey guys, Vazzy back here, and in today's video, I wanted to give you an update on the Legacy project. This is a project that I started back in January of 2025, and the end goal was trying to restore NHL Legacy Edition and trying to get it a little bit more up to today's standards when it comes to created players, when it comes to ratings, and everything like that. So, let's get into it here, and let me give you an update on where I'm at. So spoiler alert, I am unfortunately not done. So I recorded the Legacy Edition review that I just put out here this last week around the same time that I had announced the Legacy project, and I want to say that was again back in January at some point. And since then I have got quite a bit done. Unfortunately not as much as I would have liked to, but I want to take you through and show you everything that is done up until this point. Starting out with created players. So I did mention this before in the previous video, but I've gone through and I've added a ton of created players that were missing from the game. Perfect example, Artemi Panarin was not in the base roster of NHL Legacy Edition. And there's a few examples I can go through. You'll see them all the way out throughout this video. But even going to the Hartford Wolfpack, you have a guy like Igor Shesterkin, who was drafted by the Rangers, but didn't come over from the KHL for a number of years after this. So those are big names that would not appear in franchise mode. And this does not just cover players that have already been drafted, this goes through future draft classes as well. Wade Allison, he is one of those guys, and that's kind of the level of names I've got down to. I'm unfortunately at the created players limit at the moment, but you have like Quinn Hughes, and I think it's year 3 or year 4. In the NHL draft, you can go and pick Quinn Hughes. You can go to Calgary here and you can select Cale Makar. Again, I think he's year 2 or year 3, I don't even remember at this point. But yeah, I've gone in and I've added a ton of created players for anyone really that was missing and anyone that was deserving. And like I said, unfortunately I am at the max. I think there was a few more players I could have added in and would have liked to add in, but I think it's at a pretty good spot where the top names are now in the game. So that was big. That took a long time. But moving on from that, let's talk about player ratings. Obviously, probably the biggest thing that needed to be done in this game. And let's just start with the junior leagues. Let's start with the CHL. And let's just go with the AHL. All these leagues are done exactly the same and are 100% complete. So basically what I did was I went through each team and I tried to find the big names that, would play a role in franchise mode in the future. You see the top 5 there, Lemieux, Svechnikov, LeBlanc, Anderson, and Mangiapane, all NHL players down the line. Anyone outside of that, I gave a 1.5 red star to. That was to try and avoid them from popping up when really, unfortunately, their careers didn't pan out and they didn't become household names. So that's kind of what I tried to do. Unfortunately, in the draft, sometimes these players still do spike in potential. And to my understanding, there's nothing that can be done about that. If anyone has a solution to that, definitely let me know. But for the most part, the names that are added in, the highest potentials that I have set, will appear in the draft, and you will for sure see those names. But anyone outside of that, yeah, they have that 1.5 star red. And yeah, there's a ton of players that got added here. And the draft classes look a lot better now and a lot more full of names that you would recognize. But even for guys like Giovanni Smith, obviously not a superstar, but did play in the NHL, played in the AHL. So I kind of had the system like a 3-star is a bottom 6, obviously red, low, yellow, medium, and green high. And then I kind of just went each half-star a little bit more, so like Jack McBain would be a medium 9, and you can kind of figure out the system from there. And yeah, just a ton of added names, a ton of more realism for players that were already in the game. Like I think it was Braden Point that had like, I don't know, 2.5 star red or something like that, so you bump him up to like, I don't know, 4.5 star green, so he hopefully does develop throughout his career. And all the 3 CHL leagues 100% done. All of the European leagues, exact same thing, and are all 100% done. So you'll see I went through 1.5 star for anyone here that doesn't matter. Again, that's just kind of, I think, the best way of doing it. You see, like, Miro Heiskanen got a nice bump, Rupe Hintz. Guys that matter actually do have that potential still. And yeah, this took a long time going through everyone and getting everyone to where they needed to be, especially the players that, don't really matter in franchise mode, having to go through each and every single one and nerf them pretty hard to make sure that they don't appear when they're not supposed to. So yeah, that is 100% all done. The Liga, the SHL, the Dell, the Extra Liga, I can even just go in here quickly and show you everything is exactly the same. Shout out to Martin Natchez there, future draft pick in franchise mode. And yeah, 100% done, and it actually looks really good. I'm really happy with it. So that's a big piece out of the way. The issue is the two big leagues, obviously that being the NHL and the AHL. So this is where I still have work to do. So basically I went through, and this isn't like the most serious roster editing process. I don't have a ratings guide. I'm just kind of going just based off personal judgment, based off numbers off of HockeyDB, and kind of seeing how their career played out and just kind of judge potential at least off that way. So I've gone through, I've fully edited Anaheim all the way through, I believe it was Florida, I want to say, but I gave bumps to guys like Max Domi, Anthony Duclair, who had good rookie seasons at this point, and kind of went through the potential, made sure it matched up with the rest of their career. And yeah, it looks pretty good, and I'm about halfway done the NHL. So I went through, and I believe it's Florida I left off on. I know I for sure did Florida. Yeah, Barkov there with a 3.5 star green, getting him to where he's supposed to be. Was it LA? I'm actually not even 100% sure. I might have even done LA. I don't know. I didn't do Minnesota for sure at this point. So there is still work to be done. It does still take time, even though, like I said, it's not the most serious project. I don't have a real formula going through. It still takes time going through every stat, every player, and judging where they need to be. Moving on to the AHL, and this is more or less completely untouched. I went through prospects and I adjusted potential based on career trajectory, but outside of that, it more or less remains untouched. And that's going to be another part that takes, quite a while. Going through all these players, a lot of them I'm going to even say I'm just going to end up making the 1.5 star red, whatever, for guys that don't really matter. That still takes some time, so that's going to be another part of this process that unfortunately at this moment isn't done, but hopefully will be soon. And the last thing I wanted to show off is the free agent list. So I've gone through every single free agent. There was a lot, and there was a lot that were highly rated, and I assigned them wherever they need to be. There are some guys that even just got NHL contracts that for whatever reason weren't assigned to their teams. A lot of guys in the AHL, a lot of guys over in Europe, where I don't know why they were sitting there. I guess this was just the day one roster, whatever reason. But yeah, they all got assigned to their teams. Guys that ended up retiring just got assigned to international teams, and yeah, that is totally cleaned out, so you can't just go jump into franchise mode. I could even show you here very quick. I'll show you what the list is actually looking like, and you can't get those 83 or 84 overall veterans that you could just sign right away. You could beef up your team, you could trade them for assets or whatever it may be. So let me go jump in here. I'll just cut this part out and I'll meet you guys in franchise mode. Alright, so now that we're loaded into franchise mode, I'll show you what the list is looking like, and it's a lot slimmer. There is still players that I guess are on AHL deals at this point, whatever it is. You saw the list was empty, but like 79 high, that's not bad. And it drops off pretty quick after that. You have Ray Emery, the top goalie, at 77, so it's not like you're going to snag anyone too crazy at day one. Even potential, like sorting by that, Freddie Gaudreau, I'm guessing on an AHL deal at that point. Still stuff that might have to be adjusted. And then doing the same thing with goalies. Yeah, just 3-star, which is exactly how it should be. So that looks really good. That's 100% done. It really just comes down to NHL and AHL player ratings. And I think this project is more or less complete after that. So overall, we're not 100% done at current time, but we are on the way of getting there. The issue is with NHL 26, that is going to take up a lot of my time. Obviously, priority has to go toward that over NHL Legacy, and that's going to take a good couple of months before I can even get back to this. So I'm hoping in the new year that this can be done at some point. I don't know, I don't want to put a time frame on it, but it's just kind of a side project. Whenever I have time, jump on the 360 and do some edits. But yeah, once this is done, of course, we're going to run a retro franchise mode, have a lot of fun, and see how it plays and see if all this time was worth it. But that is going to do it for this quick video here today. I will see you all in the next one.